is beloved around the world. Kenny Loggins, a rock superstar for more than half a century. He's covered almost every genre, but it's his soulful songs to children that seem to drive him most.
I've got to get back to the house in Pooh Corner by one.
It was his ode to Pooh he wrote as a teen that launched his career, and 5 decades later has him yearning to reconnect with that child within.
I am Christopher Robin. I love him. And you might say I miss him. And I think that some of us, maybe we all sort of long to reconnect to that part of ourselves.
For fans worldwide, his music is the songbook of our lives. From Danny's song,
Even though we ain't got money,
Whenever I Call You Friend,
sweet love showed us some heavenly light.
Celebrate Me Home,
Celebrate me home.
and all the title tracks from hit films, Caddyshack
And Mother ain't
and Footloose,
cut loose, cut loose.
and of course, Top Gun's Danger Zone.
Highway to the danger zone.
He's done it all. 12 platinum albums, 2 Grammys, hits on almost all the Billboard charts, a half-century career straddling American pop, first as half of the multi-platinum soft rockers Loggins and Messina in the 70s, then going solo in the 80s to skyrocketing success without peer. And he's far from done. Today, in his early 70s, after a year off stage because of the pandemic, Loggins, in one of his first photo shoots since the shutdown, once more proves he's still ageless, timeless, and soul-driven to sing from the heart. You were channeling Elvis Presley. Is that your muse?
I know that character. Yeah.
But most of all, signature Loggins longs to know himself. We catch up with a very reflective Kenny, who in this new chapter of life is writing his memoirs and opening again to love. And that means longing to reconnect with the pure spirit of his youth.
I long to reconnect to that part of myself.
Kenny Loggins beginning a new and soulful chapter of life and career. He is today's LA Story. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of LA Stories. I'm Giselle Fernandez, and we are coming to you from the historic Libero Theater in beautiful Santa Barbara with the one and only Grammy Award-winning, multi-platinum environmental activist, children's activist, Kenny Loggins, whose music over many decades inspires, uplifts, and heals the planet and children alike. I can't tell you what an honor it is to meet you.
Thank you. It's a hell of an intro.
Don't you think? I got to live up to it.
Yeah, really. Oh, God, I'm scared.
Your music is the playbook of so many of our lives, and just congratulations on such a prolific career and spanning not just a generation, but so many different genres. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It's been fun.
You're in your 7th decade. When you look back at the arc of such a prolific career, what stands out most to you at this moment in time?
For me, it's still leap of faith is this really important period of my life that was like pulling pages from my journal and just writing songs. A moment in time where an artist waits their whole life to have that one thing to say. And it was the process of the marriage dissolution and the coming apart, and then the reinvention of myself, and then the love affair that ensued after that. And I got to go through that whole arc artistically. And because of that, album still reaches people really deeply.
That's where your real magic has always come from, really kind of delving into that nectar of truth, no?
It's where the heart is, you know, to drop into whatever's really mattering to me, even though I may not want to look at it myself, but as an artist to drop into that and to really try and nail it down and get that emotion, that's what reaches other people and has from the very beginning. That was Danny's song, was for my brother.
His first child.
Yeah.
Even though we ain't got money, I'm so in love with you, honey.
Even though we may not have money, we're still in love with each other, honey. It's so beautiful.
Yeah, it's always fun to do a fundraiser with people who are worth millions singing, even though we ain't got money.
That just shows where the arc of your career has gone. I want to get to all of that, but first, I mean, foremost and present in all of our minds. You've had more than a year off with this pandemic. Artists have not been able to do live performances. How has it been this past year not being able to perform?
I've been calling this a rehearsal for retirement, and I kind of like that. I kind of like not going to airports and not having to be in different hotels day after day and being home. And I'm in a new love affair, if you will, and really enjoyed this cocoon time to just be together. We bought e-bikes and you know, we play pickleball, and it's like stuff that I probably wouldn't have gotten to do if I couldn't have held still for a while. You
had said that you're in a point in your life where you really want to share what you've learned. What's the overriding theme of what you've learned that you want to share? I'm not asking you easy questions, am I?
No, you're not. Well, the first thing that comes to mind is that I think to strive to be in integrity and to be able to tell yourself the truth and then have that become a part of your art. That's been the challenge of my art all along, is who am I now? What do I really feel? And am I willing to express that and get a bad review on that, right? Because you know, that's not a bad review on some make-believe song. That's not a pop song anymore. That's who you are.
It's so interesting to hear you say that, because listening to your music, it all seems so deeply integral to who you are and coming from a deep place from what you feel and what you've lived. Do you really feel that's been a struggle for you with all of your music?
It's challenging to drop in that deep, you know. I don't want to write pop tunes anymore. I haven't for years. I want to write songs that matter. And that means we have to take a look at what's really going on. The willingness to be fully vulnerable in your art. I think that's where great art comes from, is someone willing to really show what's going on.
Yeah, no, it just all seems incredibly central to who you are. You use your music to express the things you really do care about: environmental sustainability and the planet and taking care of each other and our children. Has your art, in your mind, always been inextricably linked to your activism?
Not really.
Really?
No.
I think Conviction of the Heart and the Redlands.
Yeah, I let it go. I let the art go where it wants to go. And sometimes songs will write themselves. On Conviction of the Heart, I literally dreamt the bridge to that song, and I woke up with one with the earth, one with the sky, one with everything in life.
Where's your conviction the heart?
The song was essentially describing that this was a spiritual crisis that this person was in. I see that the environmental movement, so-called movement, that is so heavily politicized is actually a spiritual movement, and that until each of us gets our own connection to the life around us, why should we give a damn? That's where you believe that you are separate from everything. But we are connected to everything. And until we get that, that's a spiritual crisis. We can't act on this. We can't really act on making the change that needs to be made until we get our connection. So that song spoke to me. And you know, whether or not my music is inextricably linked to my activism is only because my music may tell me it wants to be at a certain point. Then I have to go there.
I was going to ask you about the process of, you know, your songwriting. What you just suggested there is that you're not on a mission to write a song to heal the planet and save the world. You almost are a vessel and a channel for
a message.
Is that really how you write? It comes to you and through you?
Often, yeah. Looking back on it, I mean, the most important song I wrote as a youngster, I wrote House of Pooh Corner when I was 17.
Christopher Robin and I walked along, and her branches lit up by the moon.
What inspired you to write that song?
The magic of Winnie the Pooh and the way it was written, and Shepard's drawings, and everything was perfect. And it sort of symbolized my childhood. And then as I was getting ready to do the finals and graduate from high school, some part of me recognized that that was over. And I totally related to Christopher Robin leaving.
Did you just get emotional over that?
Yeah.
It was hard to leave at that time.
It's not that it was hard to leave, but when I think about that child who is me, and that loss, and that transition, I love him. And you might say I miss him. I do. You know, and so anyway, so recognizing that I am Christopher Robin and I am leaving the 100-Acre Wood, that was where the idea for the song came from.
Is that why you dedicate yourself so much to children's causes, Toys for Tots, Kids Rock, and all the other charities that really impact children?
Absolutely, yeah. That child that I mentioned that's still alive in here, I think that as I'm more in touch with that part of myself, I'm more capable of love in my life. That's what allows me to be able to say I'm in love again.
Thank you for watching our YouTube channel. For more stories in your communities, click the subscribe button right here. You can also download our app or watch us on TV for the latest information, balanced coverage, weather updates every 10 minutes, and more. We'll see you then.